This is the Paltalk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to this show. Today I'm very pleased to have as our guest the Consul General for Israel in New York City, Ajaf Shariz. Do I pronounce your name right, sir?
Perfectly, Gary.
Perfectly. Wow. How about that on the first take? We asked the ambassador to join us today because of what's going on in Haiti and the fact that the Israelis are very active in the relief efforts there. They have a field hospital that they have set up in on a soccer field in Port-au-Prince. In fact, before we start the interview, Boaz, if you could you play us the video so people can see what exactly the Israelis are doing there in Israel? I mean, in Haiti? Now, the first portion of this, there is no audio, so the audio comes in a few seconds into it.
אין בעיה.
זה היה קצת ארוך, אנחנו נצטרך לקצץ את זה.
אין בעיה.
אוקיי, יאמה, תבנה.
הפצועים האלה מגיעים אלינו בעיקר משום שהיכולות שלנו כוח האדם והמומחיות של הרופאים שנמצאים פה ושל האחיות מאפשרים לנו לעשות טיפולים מתקדמים, מורכבים, שמצריכים חדר ניתוח וטיפול נמרץ שאין באף מקום אחר באזור הזה. אנחנו מרגישים את זה מהצוותים הרפואיים שעובדים איתנו. איך הם מרגישים כשיש להם לאן לפנות הפצועים? אנחנו עושים פה משהו חשוב. אתם, ההבדל פה באזור הזה בין חיים ומוות, אתם מרגישים את זה? ואנחנו נמשיך לעשות את זה גם היום.
So the translation was there, basically indicating that people are coming to them, to the Israelis, who have put together the most extensive and modern field hospital since this disaster has occurred, and between the equipment and the expertise that they actually have an intensive care unit, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ambassador, is the only intensive care unit thus far in Port-au-Prince since the earthquake.
It was the only one until last night when the Americans brought another one, so now we have us in the United States. But you saw the pictures. I couldn't, but I saw them before. Before we go on, I just want to give you an update. There's a big drama in Haiti right now because apparently the Israeli troops not in the hospital found a 6-year-old kid alive under a building after 6 days, and they are working on saving her right now. It's an unbelievable story. The family of this girl came to the Israeli troops because they heard the last survivor was rescued by the Israeli forces. So they came to the Israelis. They said, we know there are 7 members of that family in this building. We send a special dog who found out there's somebody who is alive under the building. And with technological instruments, we found out there are at least the girl is alive and another person probably. The family still claims there are 7 people there. Maybe there are 7, but at least 1 or 2 are alive. And I hope in the coming 30 minutes they will be able to save her. 6-year-old, 6 days after what happened. It's amazing.
Yes, it is, and probably more might have been saved had they had their own infrastructure there in place until help from the outside world came. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So we have seen and heard horrific reports about what's going on the ground there in Haiti, and I think that's what makes these little miracles so important, to give all of us some hope that there's a future for this country of Haiti in the wake of the earthquake. I was watching 60 Minutes last night, and they were interviewing, and I don't know if you saw the piece, but they were interviewing an American doctor. And the doctor said, please come with me, follow me. And they kept the cameras rolling, and they went right around the corner from their field hospital there. And they were loading bodies with a front-end loader into a dumpster. There were so many bodies to dispose of with no ceremony, no one to pray over them, no attempted identification to bring closure to the families. Just, I guess for health purposes, they just had to move those bodies out. And it was just a kind of scene that may be a little bit reminiscent of the concentration camps when they were liberated almost, because there were just so many bodies piled upon one another.
Yeah, unfortunately, I saw that piece last night. It's what can you say after those pictures? It's unbelievable. Unfortunately, when you saw what happened in the last 6 days, I think many countries send troops with a lot of goodwill, but not always with the expertise and the experience, and people trying to move buildings with the tractors without knowing if there are people underneath. And this is because of the magnitude of this disaster. People are trying to walk fast, and sometimes they don't know what they're doing, and we saw many cases of buildings collapsing while people are trying to save people inside. I know an American soldier died last night while trying to save people. It's a terrible story, terrible week for humankind.
And of course, it's exacerbated by the fact that the building codes there are so weak that the moment you walk into a building and remove one piece of concrete, the chance of the rest of the building coming down on you is way too great. The guest is Consul General Ajaf Shariz of the Israeli consulate here in New York City. And to me, I think the story of the IDF and all of the Israelis responding to this is relatively significant as a contrast to what we saw following the tsunami, when the Israelis responded and were turned away because they are Jewish, and some Muslim nations didn't want you there. So